Hello darlings, hope you are all doing great. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to another tutorial video on this channel. Today I'll be sharing with you the trick on how to add volume to a ball dress, especially when you don't have sufficient fabric. So without wasting much time, let's begin. So this is the upper bodice we'll be attaching to the skirt. I've done the upper bodice and this is how it's looking. Then I took the entire measurement of the half length, that is from the zip end to the other zip end, and divided by 3.14. You use 3.14 when you want to cut half circle. For this skirt, I'll be using half circle. If you are making yours in full circle, you require to use a lot more tulle, and you divide by 6.28. You divide the waist circumference by you divide the waist circumference by 6.28. But for this dress, I divided the waist circumference by 3.14 because I'm using half circle. So this is one layer. This is the lining. I didn't have enough fabric, so I had to do a bit of joining at the bottom. This is for the lining. They are all equal measurements. Half circle for the lining, and this is where I'll be sewing the tulle on. So I'll put this aside and leave this because this is what we'll be working with. This is the half circle skirt, and this is the tulle I'll be working with. To make your dress voluminous, that is, you want your ball dress to be very full, instead of attaching from the waist, you can do that if you want to attach in steps. So from here to here, I'll take a measurement, and from here to here, the bottom, before I do the last layer, from the waist to the bottom. You can do it in 2, you can do it in 3, in 4, it depends on how much tulle you have. Here, I've got about 20 to 25 yards of tulle, and I'll be exhausting the entire tulle on this ball dress. Now, let's begin. To start with, I'll be marking the length of this skirt, and I'll divide it into 3 or 2. It depends on how many layers of tulle you want to attach to this skirt. The entire length of this skirt is 27.5 because I need ½ inches up here for joining. Note, this is not a full tutorial, but if I were doing a full tutorial, the way I got the length of this skirt is by minusing the half length. So if the full length of the dress is about 30 inches and you use 10 inches for the half length, then you'll be needing 20 inches for the skirt, with ½ inch at the top and ½ inch at the bottom. But in this case, I've got 27.5 inches, and I'll be using ½ inch to join the top. Then I'll be hemming ½ inch inwards like so. I'll take this to my machine and hem ½ inch in. Then on the waist, I'll be marking ½ inch round. So by the time I'm done with that, I'll bring it back and mark where I'll be gathering the tulles to create that volume we're looking for. I've gone ahead to measure the tulle available, and we have 22 inches tulle here. I've opened the bottom of the skirt, so what we'll be doing now is to mark where I want to gather the tulle. So for here to the bottom, I've got 26.5, but I won't be cutting exactly 26.5 tulle. I'll be cutting as much as 28.5 or 29 because I need an extra 2 or 2.5 inches or 3, depends on you, to make it equal. Because by the time I attach here, this place becomes high, and I'll need a longer tulle to make it equal length. Let's proceed. For the first layer of tulle, I'll be marking 10 inches upward. So from here to here, I'll mark 10 inches upward. Just mark it like so. And from this side, I'll be marking another 10 inches upward. That is from here to here, 20 inches upward. So because I have marked from here to here 10 inches, this first layer of tulle, I'll cut 12 inches. And from here to here, because I have marked 20 inches, the second layer of tulle will be 22 inches. And lastly, I've got 26.5 up here, so the last layer of tulle will be 28.5. At the end of the day, when I'm done, I can then make the hem equal by trimming it. So I'll have enough tulle at the bottom to trim and make it equal. So like I said, I'll be marking 10 inches, 20 inches all round. For this 10 inches mark, I'll mark it all round. The 20, I'll mark it all round. Then I'll proceed to cut my tulle. 12 inches for the first layer, 22 inches for the second layer, and 28.5 for the last layer. I'll go ahead and mark the half circle skirt all round. I'm done marking both sides because this, sorry, I forgot to mention, this is on fold. So this is going to be the center front of the dress, and this is going to be the back where I'll be fixing the zip. So I've marked both this side and the other side faintly with a pen. You can use an erasable marker, the one you erase with pressing iron. I am done cutting the two. Now is to layer. So this is for the first layer, this is for the second layer, and this is for the top layer. So I'll be starting, let me take this out of the way. I'll be starting with this first layer. First layer will start from this first line that is marked here, and I'll gather all round. If you have enough tulle, it is advisable that you double your tulle when you're gathering. It gives it this opaque look, but when you don't double, you are likely to have a transparent skirt whereby your tulle can be seen through. If you don't have gathering foot, you can use your hand, or you run a stitch all the way from the beginning to the end. That's going to be a lot of work, but you will still get a very good end result. You run stitch from the beginning to end and start to gather. But if you have gathering foot, it's just once that you do it, and it's the easiest way to gather your tulle on this skirt. So now let's go to the machine and gather this first layer. I'm done with the first layer, and this is it. Let me open this up. So this is the first layer. Next, I'll be joining the second layer. So this second layer is from here to the bottom. I'll join it on the second line that we marked, and I'll join it all the way around using my gathering foot. I said if you don't have a gathering foot, you can run a loose stitch and sew as you pull, but it's faster when you have a gathering foot, and it makes the job easier. This is what it looks like after attaching the second layer. What we've got left is the last layer, and this is it. We'll be attaching it up here for a full coverage. But if you want your coverage really full, you need more tulle. For this, I used about 23 yards of tulle, but if you want your coverage really full and covered, you'll be needing a lot more than 23 yards of tulle. So this is what it looks like after adding the second layer. If I were making a short dress, it would have been way more than enough, but this is meant to be a floor length dress, and I'm using size 4 to 5 years. So if I were making this for a year-old baby, I think the tulle would have been enough for a fuller coverage. So next, I'll be gathering the last layer along the waistline before I attach it to the bodice. I'll just go over to my machine now and gather this, then come back and show you what next. This is what it looks like after attaching the last layer. This is it. With this now, you may not necessarily need to attach the white hard net inside. You can see how full this is, and with additional tulle, you get a fuller look. You can still attach this to the bodice and skip the part where you need to add the hard net. This is the hard net that is sewn to the lining. You sew the hard net to the lining before you add it in, but with this full look, you can skip that part and just use your lining alone. The essence of adding tulle to your skirt in layers is to give it volume, because what is a ball dress without volume? So with this now, you can just keep adding the hard net inside and just attach this to the bodice, and you have a full princess dress that has enough volume. And you can wear this without wearing the inner basket. You can finish it without using the hard net. It will still turn out very beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll be showing you the finished look of the dress at the end of this video. Do well to please encourage this channel by sharing, like, turn on your notification bell, and leave any comments. I'm happy to answer any question that you may have. See you in my next video. Thanks for watching.